All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
All right, we are back again on the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday, 11 a.m. UK time. If it wasn't for Kishan, I was actually going to come live at 10 a.m. because I believe UK went an hour backwards. Right? Is that right? Kishan,
Yes,
you guys
correct.
went back. Yeah. So
Yeah, winter time.
winter time, and we're in summer. So yeah, it's 10 p.m. for me, but it's 11 a.m. for Kishan. So yeah, now all of the time differences have kicked in. And it will be like this for at least the next 6 months, right? Because we
Yes,
just did
6
ours
months.
a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, brilliant. Before we get into all of it, fantastic victory against a lowest of the lowest blocks you can ever imagine from Newcastle. First half was so tough, so difficult to watch and long as well. That 45 minutes felt like 3 hours, and it was boring as hell. But second half, we were just on it. We were just on it from the get-go, more direct, more through the middle. The goals came. We're going to talk a lot about that. However, the conversation has to start from Conor Gallagher because this player now deserves a lot of respect from us. But before we do all of that, live chat, thank you so much for joining. There's almost 20 people, well, more than 20 people right now live across all platforms. Please smash the like button. We're going to try and hit 100 likes, at least minimum for the stream. So we're going to try and keep up with the likes. So let's get those likes up as much as we can. We've got over 20 people. So let's get to 20 likes. And massive shout out to everyone that's in the live chat as well. Robin George, you've come up with a crazy comment there, but nonetheless, kudos to you for joining. Obviously, we'll touch on this whole topic. Alex Abhishek Matthews, thank you so much for joining. Google Ethu, thank you for being here as well. I love my team. Miroslav Zurich, morning, gents. Thank you so much for joining. Kishan, my boy, how you doing, man?
Yeah, bro. Coming back off a victory, you know, we always have a lot to speak about, and with this lone army stuff, Conor Gallagher stealing points from rivals, it's going to be a really good show. Looking forward to it.
Massive, bro. Not just stealing point from just any ordinary rival out there, from Man City, away from home. It's incredible. I mean, Kishan, let's talk about this. I'm going to be honest with you, right? I always knew Conor Gallagher was a good player because I saw him last season for West Brom, looked very decent, work rate immense, great attitude, and did very well for West Brom. And then obviously he had the preseason with us, showed similar sort of energy. I think Thomas Tuchel did a bit of dirty on him on one of the match where he put him as a lone DM right at the end, and he looked a bit out of sorts. That's not him. He's more of a box-to-box. That's what we're seeing with Palace as well. But Kishan, all this time, up until probably the Man City game, I knew he was a good player. Always knew he was a good player, and he was putting on great performances. But I always had this feeling, Kishan, that he's probably just going to be one of those players that we're going to sell, make the money, maybe put a buyback clause on him if he explodes, and we buy him back. I have to say though, Kishan, I've now seen the highlights of the whole Man City game. He was incredible, goal, assist, not just that, the work off the ball, and we'll talk about all of that. I have to take him seriously now, Kishan, for next season. I think he's honestly a proper contender to break into the team. What's your thoughts?
Literally exactly what you just said. And if you look at our squad this season, I think we might have space for one more midfielder because someone like Saul Niguez, we're hoping he don't stay on. And when you look at the kind of pity minutes he's getting. Yesterday he got 2 minutes when we were 3-0 up. Stuff like that. It kind of shows I think we're not going to go for someone like that. So if we're looking to add another box-to-box kind of midfielder, Conor Gallagher is so good for that. And when you look at our team right now, what we miss without Mason Mount, it feels weird that you have this guy balling out somewhere else when we could probably do with him even right now in the team currently with the injuries that we have. So like when you look at it as well, Miz, and literally what you said, I always knew he was a decent player because I followed this guy quite a bit, but I had the same kind of thoughts as you because when he was on loan at West Brom, he was like almost like a steady Eddie where he didn't really stand out for me, but he went along because the thing with him is he'll always have the work rate and that side of things. So And I think last season, I remember him scoring only 2 goals. And I know he played for West Brom,
Yeah.
but I didn't really think that he had more, like relatively more output in him. But since he's gone
It was more the energy,
Crystal,
Kishan. It was more
yeah,
energy, intensity, pressing, off the ball work, and work rate.
yeah.
But production, was
And
lacking.
still, even now, that's one of the key selling points for Conor Gallagher. If you saw that work, and people think that kind of side of the game, there's some people who think, oh, it's all about technical ability and all of that. But if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have that side of it, you won't even get to show your technical ability because
Yeah.
you won't work hard enough to get the ball or get the ball off people. So he was amazing against City yesterday, and like even from the start of this season, I've been really surprised because I think the first game he played was against Brentford. It might be the second one, and he scored 2 goals in that game. So
West
instantly, I
Ham,
thought,
West Ham.
was it West Ham?
2 goals against West Ham.
Yeah,
I think
West
Crystal
Ham,
Palace were behind, and he came back and scored two
and
goals.
that's his last season's tally. So instantly, I always
Mm.
thought something. But the game before this that
Against
I
Spurs
watched,
as well. Against Spurs, he looked mad as well. He was really good
Spurs.
against
I
Spurs.
didn't actually watch that game, but the Arsenal game, he looked really good as well.
He looked good. Yeah.
Arsenal, yeah. So I thought, yeah, we're definitely onto something. And then when he plays against Man City, you're so right when you say he's not. It's not like he'll just be handed a pity chance now. He is forcing Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea's
Yeah.
hand now because if you can
Yeah.
go to Man City Etihad, and you got to remember his pressing, etc., all this stuff. When he got the ball off, I think it was Laporte. They did some analysis on him on Match of the Day,
Yeah.
and it
He
was
got
like
the
he's
ball
so
off
clever.
Laporte. He got the
He
ball
got
off
the ball off
Laporte. Yeah.
Laporte, but his pressing angle was from a side that he kept Laporte on his right foot and not his favoured left foot. He
Bang
steals
on.
the ball. He
Yeah.
steals the ball and then he plays it to Zaha. The finish I thought was brilliant from there. I know he scuffed it or
Bro,
whatever,
you
but
know what?
to
Just on that press, Kishan, just to get back to that, you're
yeah,
so spot on. He pressed in a way where he was forcing Laporte to come to his right, where he's not comfortable. That you need to be very switched on in the game to
yeah,
know what to like. Your gaffer could say, I need you to press in these trigger points. I need you to, whenever they move the ball to the right, I need you to go. But to know the little details of a player when they're weakest, on their right, if they're left-footed, or if they're right, they're weak on their left, or whatever the case is, that takes some sort of thinking during the game to know that.
that's skill. And at the same time, it was really, really early in the game as well. So sometimes you see how City move the ball around and they kind of tire opponents really early in the game. This guy from
Mm.
the get-go, the mentality, the mindset's there. He robbed that ball off Laporte, 5 or 6 minutes in, and they take the
Mm.
lead. And this is when they have 11 men as well. So it wasn't
Yeah.
even the fact that they dropped to 10 and then he started doing it. And even his run for the goal, he starts all the way on his side of the
Yeah.
pitch defending
Yeah.
and slowly he doesn't burst as well. He slowly sort of trickles in. Then he sees Rodri's not really marking him. He gets there. And the finish was amazing as well
Oh,
from there.
beautiful
The
finish.
finish was so
Beautiful
good.
finish. First
And
time
this is
hit.
what
First time
yeah,
hit.
first time hit. I think like technically with that kind of stuff as well, with the shooting, he's really good. And we have problems with shooting outside the box or sometimes even in
Mm.
the box with those first time finishes. We saw yesterday, Miz, when you're trying to break down a low block and you don't really have someone shooting from far. I saw Jorginho take his first shot in years outside the box. I do not remember the last time he shot outside the box. And then I remembered why he don't shoot outside the box. My God, that was poor.
But do you
So
remember the Fulham one, Asari season? Fulham outside the
yeah,
box.
yeah.
That was probably
Was
the
it
last
was
one
it
where
outside?
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was outside.
That's
I'm pretty
that's
sure it was
probably that and Arsenal are his only sort of
outside.
outfield goals as well that haven't come from the penalty spot. So yeah, no, someone like Connor, I think we could definitely use him. And man,
Mm.
sometimes I just think like imagine these two like Mount and Conor Gallagher doing their
Bro,
Duracell battery
can
work
you
for
imagine
us.
Mount and Conor Gallagher in behind, like, let's say for argument's sake, Jorginho-esque kind of a midfielder? They would just press as a unit and would not allow the opposition to sit. Like they will hustle the opposition to play quick. And you know what happens? You can create forced errors. This is what Palace did. By the way, just a big shout out to Patrick Vieira, man. He's doing some sort of a job over there in Palace. For them to, I don't know if you saw the entire match. I saw the highlights. So I saw about 45 minutes package of the whole match. So condensed down to 45 minutes. They pressed high. They pressed City high. And this was before Laporte got red carded. And they pressed as a unit. They pressed with a lot of direction. And when they had the ball, they were very quick. They knew exactly how to move the ball around. And it was incredible to see that. I mean, Kishan, just to go back onto Conor Gallagher's, skill set. I mean, I feel Thomas Tuchel seriously now has to think about this player come next season. Obviously, doesn't have to think about it now, but come next season, all the attributes that he brings, off the ball work rate, he will run all day long, chase down people, pressing, counter pressing. So not just if you lose the ball, but win it back straight away. Within 2 to 3 seconds, you got to win it back. And he's good with that. We've already talked about his shooting. He loves to shoot. Like, he's not shy to shoot. Like, he will take a shot outside the box. I don't know if you remember this. Was it Arsenal where he took that volley outside the box and he hit the post?
Yeah, Ramsdale, good save, yeah.
That was a big save, by the way. Ramsdale's doing some madness as well. Your home state, Leicester. Leicester's not looking that great, man. But Kishan, Conor Gallagher's skill set, it fits with Chelsea, doesn't it?
Almost down to T, because with the pressing stuff that you said, you got a coach like Thomas Tuchel who's huge on counter pressing. Like, after the game yesterday, he was talking about counter pressing. Jorginho was talking about counter pressing, and Conor Gallagher just seems like someone who fits that philosophy so well. And you can tell that even if he wasn't playing for us, a manager like Jurgen Klopp would appreciate someone like Conor so much. Like,
gives me honestly, a little bit of Henderson vibe. Jordan Henderson is sort of vibe, bro. I know that's a long statement. Jordan Henderson's a big time player, but still, I can see him fitting into that Liverpool team easy.
And that's what it is with him. And like you said he doesn't have to think about him this season. But my point is, with the performances that he's putting in against big teams like Man City, he could almost help us win the title with performances like this, as long as he does it against our rivals and he keeps nicking points. You have to take notice of him, because him helping Crystal Palace has put us 5 points ahead of Man City at this point. And that's huge, to be honest. And like, this is the thing with our loan deals, Miz. I remember thinking this last season when we had Ross Barkley. And do you remember the performance he put in against Arsenal last season away from home? And like, I was just thinking about that so much, where it was like, we loan this person out, we get a fee for them. They play against our rivals. They damage our rivals. They can't play against us. It's just such a sequence as well. And this is with Conor Gallagher
Chelsea
as well.
Chelsea smart.
And it's like 3D chess, isn't it? So, yeah.
And Kishan, the crazy part is they can't play against us. They can't play against us.
They can't play against us. And we actually had them in the first game of the season. I don't know if he had been loaned out then yet, but we got a 3-0 win against them. But I can assure you, if he was playing, it would have been a much harder game against them.
No, 100%. Nate Abdi's dad, thank you so much for this comment. Big up Miz and Kishan. Gallagher will be addition to next season. Similar to Mount, he's a good 8 with elite mentality. Honestly, we've got quite a few people have joined in, over 60 nearly. The Blue Lounge, big up, my man. Big up. We've got Zvo Genius as well. Big up to you as well. Guys, let's keep up with the likes. We've got nearly 60 people. Let's get those likes up to 60 straight away. The aim of the stream is to get to 100 likes minimum, and then anything after that is a bonus. If you're here for the first time, subscribe and hit the bell notification as well to stay in touch with all my content. Check out Kishan's socials as well in the description. We're going to talk about many other topics as well, so you do want to stick around. Kishan, just on that Conor Gallagher situation, do you think, I mean, you look at our plethora of midfielders that we have. Kante, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic is flying at the moment. It's sad that he's injured. Jorginho is still around. Barkley and Saul, But by the way, Barkley's pass to Kai Havertz that got the penalty doesn't get talked about enough.
Bro, I'm telling you, Ross Barkley, and when he comes on every single time, he
What
does
his
something
impact?
where you think, like, bro, you're Ziyech's biggest fan, yeah? And yesterday he just won it, was he? And like you put Ross Barkley on, yeah, and within a minute we score. I know he had nothing to do with it, but it was just I found it so ironic. I was just laughing so much when he brought on Barkley and Loftus Cheek, and we go and bang within like a minute.
Bro, you know what? All along in my watch along, I was saying that Newcastle was so deep, Kishan. Our centre backs were in their final third. Like that's
Rudiger,
how
yeah,
deep Rudiger
Rudiger went
was
on
living there.
plenty of. He was literally like a left winger or left inside attacking midfielder.
But the left I call him the left attacking centre back. Like
Yeah.
he's literally a left attacking centre back. And I said Kante was taking so many dangerous positions. I was like, it's a bit too much, Kante and Jorginho. And I was also saying Ziyech was just not playing good again. Do you know what I mean? So I said,
Bro,
why
and
not bring Barkley and Ruben Loftus-Cheek? Do you know what I mean?
yeah. And like at the start of the game, I remember in the first half when we didn't have any shots, Ziyech put that ball in the net in terms of the offside goal. And the thing is, it still looked like if anything was going to happen, it was probably going to come through him. But then
Yeah,
every
yeah.
time he got it, something would go wrong. So even in the second half, early in the second half, I thought if I'm thinking about the only goal scoring method we've got right now, it's probably going to be
Is
from a long shot from Ziyech. And
Ziyech, yeah.
he had a long shot that deflected and hit the post. That would have been like that kind of goal that I would have expected.
Bro, the second half, 10 minutes, well, up until he got substituted off,
Sub. Yeah.
that was his best part of the moment of the game. Like first
Yeah.
half, rubbish. That second half where we were more direct and he had that shot deflected, hit the post, I was like, wow, that was almost going to go in. But it's just not good enough, man. Like that
I
was a game for Ziyech to take control from the
What
get-go.
stage are you at with him, Miz? Like for me, yeah, I pretty much tapped out on this guy. Like if I see him in the starting lineup, like yesterday I saw him in the starting lineup and I was like, nah, this is not.
Yeah.
The thing is, obviously, if he does good and stuff, I'm still supporting him. But it's just like he probably has to do good in a lot of matches. You know how Thomas Tuchel said about Callum Hudson doing one good game against Norwich isn't going to convince me. Same thing
Yeah.
with Ziyech for me. He like plays good in 1-2 games. It's not going to convince me because I've seen him do that. I saw that performance against Sheffield last season, etc. I
Yeah.
want to see him do that like
Bro, he
at
needs
least
to
a few times.
he needs to play 5 good games in a row now. Really, he does. In order to say that, okay, he's somewhat back. He can't just have
Yeah.
like a blinder one game and
I've
then
pretty much
disappear.
tapped out on this guy in our formation, though, Miz. If we change our
Yeah.
formation, then I'd be willing to give him another go on that right hand side or whatever. But in this formation, we've seen way too much of him to kind of know what to expect, really. And this is what annoys me when you see players out on loan balling out and actually having that work rate and mentality. And then you got
And
someone
suits
within
the
the
way we
club
want to play. Do you know what I mean? And
suits the way
suits
we're
the way
gonna
we
play, and then you got someone within the club who has the talent, and the talent's not the problem, but it's just they can't show it for
Yeah, it just doesn't
they
suit
just
us.
go
It
out and
just
play and
doesn't
it just
look.
don't suit. Yeah,
You know me, bro. I love the guy so much. I want him to succeed wherever he goes, but it's just it hurts now to watch. It honestly hurts to watch him not perform. And someone like Barkley comes in and he finds a pass in between 3 defenders to notice a run from Havertz going behind the defense. I mean, that just makes me think, well, Ziyech, that's what you
nah.
should have been
And
doing
then
the first
I
half.
look at him and he always misses. You know, every single game, cut in from the left, try and put that ball
Yeah.
back sticker right. When it's not worked for you for. It's pretty much not worked for him since that Sheffield United game last season where
I
it
hate
worked
when you
twice.
talk about Ziyech, bro.
But
You make me feel
but
sad,
honestly,
bro.
but then you look at someone like Ross, yeah, and he came on against Southampton. That floating ball that he played for Aspi, like this
Oh,
is the kind of stuff I expect from Ziyech, and he's
yeah.
just not it at the moment.
Look, going back to the midfield situations, we were talking about Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Jorginho, Barkley, Saul, Kante, Kovacic. I mean, there's a lot of players. Don't forget Billy Gilmore as well in Norwich, who's not having any starts in recent times. I mean, Kishan, who does he come in for? And could there be a chance where Chelsea may think, okay, you know what? Palace might be interested to buy him if he has a blinder of a season. I want to ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Do you sell him with a buyback? How much? Because a Palace will have to pay big money for this particular player. So I want to know how much do you think this player is worth if he has a very good season? Or does he just come back into Chelsea and fight for his place to start? He'll get enough minutes. We play so many different competitions. What are you thinking? What's your thinking process?
This is based on assumptions. I'm assuming, though, from Conor Gallagher, what we've seen this season continues. So if he continues in this vein against sort of any team and he's nicking points for us here and there, I think he will be back in the capacity of an actual first team player, maybe sporadic or sort of rotation kind of player, but almost like Ruben, where he needs to wait for a few games to get his chance, and then some of our players might underperform, etc. And then the chance
really
will come,
take over.
and then he shows, So that's probably my answer to question number one. And when you talk about how much I think he'd be worth if he has a good season, the thing is, with someone like him, if we're putting a buyback clause in, I think Chelsea would be interested in bids at around 30 onwards. What do you think? I don't think. Yeah.
This season, let me just tell you some stats about him. Just his goals and assists. He's got 3 goals, 2 assists, 2 goals against West Ham, 1 goal against City, 1 assist against Spurs, 1 assist against City. Obviously, we saw, and he was pretty good against Arsenal. Should have got something over there. And his defensive stats, I'm not going to go into all of that over here, but it looks very good. 30 mil to me seems like that's like any player.
This is the thing, though, Miz. This is the thing, though. I think if it was like a buyback kind of deal, it's like you give us that and we'll give you 50 or 55.
Like a discounted figure.
That's how these kind of things tend to work as well. But like one thing is, I feel like when you have these kind of deals, sometimes what happens is this player, once they move on, you kind of look for the next kind of shiny toy, and it might be from another club, and you kind of forget that you have this guy here. Whereas because he's just on loan right now, he always has to come back to the club at the end of the season. He has to train with this club, stuff like that. So I think he needs to still stick around. And I think the thing with him is he saw players like Mark Gurley leave and stuff, but I feel like this guy has this inner belief, almost like Mason Mount, that he will make it here. I think he thinks he'll make it here, and fair play, because he's got it.
I feel like he has the same sort of belief like Mount as well. Like you're saying that I want to make it at Chelsea. I want to just go anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think so.
And at the same time, you know how you talk about the new fancy toy? I need our fan base to start, and myself as well. And to a degree, you yourself. Remember when we had Ameya? He'd want to keep all our youth players, all our academy players. He doesn't want to sell no one. I need to start respecting this a little bit more, man. Our youth products are not to be laughed about, man. These players are good.
I saw the Liverpool highlights, and like the one that properly hurts me is Tariq Lamptey. This guy, man.
Bro, he smoked Liverpool. He smoked him.
Like the one thing is, I know we had the wingback debate last time, and it's like Reece yesterday for us. He comes through trumps with 2 amazing goals that Lamptey can't score, but Lamptey can do other things that Reece finds it hard to say. It's just like they complement each other so well.
Lamptey 1v1.
And this is the thing, we speak about Livramento and stuff like that. I've seen a lot more of Lamptey in general because he's played a lot more games. But even when he comes from the bench, he's such a good bench option to run at players, etc. This kid, like, our academy is brilliant, like you were saying. And when we had that episode with Ameya, I know he was saying keep a lot of them, but we actually did say loan a lot of them. So players like Conor, I remember you asking us the question, if we sold Gallagher for this much. If a bid of, I think it was rumored that 15 to 20 million comes in. And I remember saying to him, Miz, yeah, if he goes out on loan and has a successful loan, forget about 15, 20 million, because now I've said 30 and you're saying 30 seems less. So like for
But
these kind of players,
45, I think
yeah,
45 for Conor. Yeah, bro.
yeah. And this
Work
is what I
rate
mean.
off
There's
the ball. This guy 45 minimum.
Miss,
Minimum.
Miss,
Do you know what I
add
mean?
this to the list of when you loan a player, they rob points of your rivals if they score against the right rivals. They can't play against you. You get a loan fee for them, and that other club.
Oh no. Did we just lose Kishan? Hopefully he comes
Yep, I'm
back.
back. I'm back. Yeah.
You're back, bro. Come on.
Yeah. So which of the points was I left at? I was saying, I was just repeating the loan
Goes
thing
on loan, develops. That's where I lost.
and develops value as well. So like a 15, 20 million pound player you now think he's worth up to sort of 45 million. So like that's perfect. And in terms of, you asked one more thing of me, you asked me whose place does he take in this current midfield. I think it's literally chalk and cheese for now. And I'm going to take the easiest option and say Saul Niguez.
Bro, Sal Niguez, man, yeah, his time. Look, I wish him the best. I hope he does well and whatnot. He looked pretty okay against Southampton, to be honest.
Yeah.
But at this stage, Kishan seems to be a bit surplus to our requirements. Ross Barkley, as great as he has been and an impact player, let's be honest, long term he's not the player for us. So there should be a spot there for us to get someone
and profile-wise,
like,
Miz, as well. You got to remember the one thing about Conor is, even if we do have Conor, and I love him in the team, for taking someone like Saul Niguez's place, there's still that certain profile of DM that I thought we were missing as well. And we've had this conversation previously, like a proper sitting DM who's got the hot passing ability, etc., but just really, really strong and solid defensively. I think Conor, like you alluded to, is a really good box-to-box midfielder. I think with him, actually, you know what? I was going to say it makes sense to have a season with him being like squad rotation and stuff, but this is the thing with like someone like Loftus-Cheek is he didn't really have the performances at Fulham to say that, I should come in and be in contention to start straight away. So he needed someone to kind of underperform or need his profile specifically. With Conor Gallagher, if he's showing against Man City away, that's probably the toughest fixture. That's one of the toughest fixtures in the world. Not just English football, probably the world. Man City away. You saw what they did to us at the Bridge when they came.
Oof,
this is in their stadium. Like, for him to put in performances like that, I think he'd be in contention pretty much straight away if he can carry on like this.
Bro, if he continues these in the big matches like this on a regular basis this season, he's definitely in contention. One definitely player to look out for, man. Conor Gallagher, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, pay closer attention, and we'll see what happens for the entire season. Hopefully, he remains fit. Number one, continues to be doing well for Crystal Palace, and we'll see what happens next season. But this guy now needs to be seriously in the conversation. I honestly thought all along maybe he's just a player that we can make some profit out of, but no longer. It's not just about the money. As Kishan said, he's already increasing the value. His stocks have gone from 15 million at the start of last season when the transfer window was on. Crystal Palace coming up and thinking that maybe Palace might get him for 15 million. Palace better be looking at 45 million minimum. And I don't think Palace has that kind of money to give us. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I don't want to sell him. I think that there's a lot about this particular player. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the next topic. But before we do that, nearly 90 of you guys are live. You guys are enjoying it. I can see the comments in the live section. You guys are buzzing. Smash the like button. Let's get to 100 likes. That's the aim of the stream. So we've got 34 likes. Let's try and push for 50 straight away. We're 16 away from 50. So let's get to that. Let's get the first milestone, 50, which is 16. And if you're here for the first time, subscribe and hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content, check out Kishan and his socials as well in the description. Kishan, let's talk about Jorginho. I saw something strange after the match, and I didn't have the energy to talk about this in social media, so I just went to bed, and it was quite late as well. Well, it was quite early. By the time the match finished, it was like 5 a.m. in the morning for me, so I just went to bed. But I woke up, and I saw a few Chelsea fans, and some large ones as well, some large accounts in social media, in Twitter, saying, well, isn't that a bit odd of Jorginho not giving that penalty to Reece James, almost to insinuate a hate brigade for Jorginho? Like this player needs more hate. Like anytime he does remotely anything wrong, everyone's on his back. And this guy, no matter how good he does for us, people always look for that one-off thing to go off against him. I mean, this guy's our closest chance of winning the Ballon d'Or, to be honest. Let's put, make it a buck over here. He's probably the closest opportunity for us. So we need to be, hopeful that he does that for us. But it was strange to see, Kishan, that post-match, few fans were a bit upset that Reece James didn't get that penalty to get his hat-trick. And I was like, I didn't even think about that at that point. Honestly, it didn't even cross my mind. I knew Reece James had 2 goals, but I knew Jorginho is the penalty taker for Chelsea Football Club.
Yeah.
You go and take it. Unless otherwise. And I didn't even see any conversation where Reece James was really pushing Jorginho, mate, can I take it? Like, do you remember Ross Barkley in that against that Valencia game where he skied that? Like, he literally went up to Willian, like, I'm taking this one. Do you know what I mean? He told William, I got this, brother. I got this. I didn't see Reece James do any of that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't hustling and bustling to take this. He wasn't desperate to get this hat trick. And why would Jorginho just take the ball up to Reece James and go, I think you should take it. You're about to get the hat trick. You take it. No, I'm the penalty taker. Do you know what I mean? And then Jorginho came post-match and he made a statement. It's strange that he even had to make that statement. But he actually even said, I need to clear this up because he knows he's going to get the hate for this. He said that there was no conversation. Reece never asked to take the penalty. In fact, he came up and he said, good luck. Like, he supported it. And Jorginho also said that had there been a conversation, had Reece asked him, he said that he would have had that conversation. He would have probably considered it. I mean, how are you seeing this whole situation, man? This unnecessary hate towards Jorginho, even after winning 3-0. Like, I don't get it. I don't understand this whole thing.
Yeah, to be honest, what matters is that he put it into the net. And like you, initially, I didn't think about it as well. It's only when it was like 5 minutes later and I saw how the goal went in, because I actually missed that goal. So I saw it was Jorginho penalty and I thought, oh, actually, you know what? Reece could have taken it. But like, if I was choosing, I would have liked Reece to have had it, because it's just like I was talking to you about the concept of like a right wing back scoring a hat trick from our team. And if you're moving from Jorginho to Reece, I don't feel as though you lose. You're giving the penalty to someone random. Where Reece, you've seen in the last 2 kind of penalty shootouts we've had, he can maintain his cool and take a really good one. Very good penalty, but it's not that point is what you're trying to say, right? It's that the penalty taker's most likely been chosen by the manager, and it's like to just stick the ball in the net, and at the end of the season maybe goal difference counts. You never know. So he's given it to Jorginho, and that's one of the responsibilities that Jorginho takes.
There's authority, isn't there, Kishan? Like there's a set of principle. Like Jorginho takes the penalties. Like unless there was other talk, unless there was pre-match, Thomas Tuchel said, oh, by the way, if there's a particular player that's got 2 goals, and if we get a penalty, give it to that player so that they can get a hat trick. Like unless there was all that kind of conversation, I don't think this should even be a topic. Like this commentary from Robin George, who seems to be a bit of a hater of Jorginho, why wouldn't it cross your mind? James has put in 5th pen in shootout. Why? What? Do you think? I don't know, man. Do you think Reece James cares that he needs to get a hat trick here? Like he would have been ecstatic with the 2 goals anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not just him scoring. Like it's a team effort. Callum Hudson-Odoi played a heavy role for the first goal in order to eventually fall for Reece James, who had a fantastic finish, no doubt about that. Second one, Ruben Loftus-Cheek actually took the shot initially. Keeper dived the other way, and he ricocheted and fell for Reece James, who had the open goal. I mean, for me, it's not like it's not a huge deal for me. Jorginho is the penalty taker, and he took it. Let's move on. I don't understand why Jorginho has to consciously pick up the ball and walk to Reece James and go, "You take it." Why?
Yeah, I think it's because I think maybe our fans just don't like Jorginho scoring or taking penalties. I think they want
This is the thing.
the
This
more
is the
sort of
thing.
exciting players to take them, and Jorginho is very good at them. See, I've said this before when Lukaku's on the pitch and stuff like that. I'd like Lukaku to take him, whatever. But it's not because Jorginho's a bad player or whatever. It's just that kind of profile of a DM taking him. It's sort of weird, but when he's on the pitch, he's at least he's right up there in terms of actual ability to take it. And if he's been chosen to take it, maybe even in Lukaku's absence, maybe even if Lukaku's there, then he takes it and he sticks it away. And yeah, even with his style of taking penalties now, that's kind of changed as well. So I think
no more
with that kind of stuff,
skip. No more
he
skip
kind
and
of
hop
does
anymore.
he does it, but it's like implemented in all in one motion, not as much exaggeration as it used to be before on the skip. So yeah, he popped it in, and then that's it. We move on. The thing is, with this kind of thing, people are always going to have different views, and it depends on probably prefer more Reece James as a player or Jorginho maybe, but it is what it is. We got the goal, we won 3-0, and we move on. It's not a huge talking point really.
Exactly, and this is exactly how I wanted it. I just found it strange that some people in social media just trying to drum up a unnecessary hit towards Jorginho. I mean, as you said, we just won 3-0. We're on top of the Premier League title, table, and here we are. You're upset that Reece James didn't get the hat trick. Oh, how crazy, Jorginho! You arrogant player taking that away from Reece James. I'm like, incredible. Honestly, it's incredible for me to even have this sort of conversation. I hope the fan base can just get over it. Look, Jorginho will just keep banging in the penalties. I mean, Kishan, does it bother you one bit that he just keeps banging in the penalties? Like, does it annoy you?
Why
me,
should
I love it.
He's got to keep banging them in. We'd rather him banging them in than him missing them. Of course, it's what I meant with the thing. It was pretty much purely Lukaku, and it's for me, I want my striker to get all the goals possible, and even in terms of conversion rate, Lukaku's an animal. But when Jorginho is on the pitch, his conversion rate's actually brilliant as well. So there's no need for it. And like I said, if he missed the penalty, then maybe go back and have that conversation. But he didn't. He popped it in. So that's it. We move on.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about the wingbacks, man. Reece James, 4 goals, 3 assists in all club competition. I think in the Premier League, it's about 4 goals, 1 assist, so it's pretty damn good. Chilwell, 3 goals in the Premier League, and that's in all competition as well, so he hasn't scored yet in the others, but 3 in the Premier League. Has 7 goals across our wingbacks and 1 assist as well from Reece James. It's incredible, the output, and this is what we wanted, Kishan, didn't we? Last season, we said that we need our wingbacks, especially when it's that 5 at the back, the wingbacks bombing up. This season, we're seeing the wingbacks getting inside the box. Chilwell, we saw him just in and around outside the box and sometimes inside the box. Reece James is loving that right side where he just finds himself in open space, and he's liking that angle of taking that shot as well. Sometimes he's dinking it in, sometimes he's rocketing it in. Sometimes against Newcastle, who cuts back in and hits it with his left. So how good is it to see? You know how a lot of people, Kishan, keeps moaning and crying that, but it's too defensive, this look, 3 at the back. We've got the most goals so far. I think we're ahead of goals in terms of Man City. Second.
Yeah, we're ahead of it,
Who's in front of us? Liverpool? Liverpool's ahead of us.
Yeah.
So 5 at the back is not an issue. I mean, wingbacks are producing goals now, which is exactly what we want to see in this particular setup. I mean, how do you feel about the whole situation now?
Yeah, to be honest, like I feel like this kind of thing was brewing between these two, the right back and left back. Even in the Lampard days, I remember that Sheffield game, the Ziyech game, and it was like Chilwell was always back post and Reece was always crossing in and stuff like that. But I thought it was always sort of promised that over like the next few years they would kind of become the best two in their positions and the most dynamic, like in terms of actually putting out numbers. And it only seems to have come to fruition now, and they both seem to have finally kind of nailed down the spot. Whereas now I can't really see Aspi and Alonso doing that same role. Alonso would probably still get you goals.
Oh no, have we lost Kishan again? Kishan's got the worst internet connection, man. These people from Leicester.
I am back now though. So yeah, no, like I was saying, it's just the amount of goals and the quality of them as well. It's just like how technical these guys are. They've not even been scoring tap-ins and stuff, and I'm hoping that will come with their positioning.
But look at all of Reece James's goals, all stunning goals. Chilwell's goals,
and all of Chilwell's goals,
all volleys, or outside of the box.
Yeah, literally. So they're scoring very, very good technical goals. And yesterday, when he scored that goal on his left, I didn't think his left foot was that good because I've never kind of seen him rocket one. Like when he rocketed that is as much power as like a right-footed shot by some. Like I didn't really see that much difference between that and his right-foot shot. I was like, whoa! And even the second one that was an open goal, the way he hit that to get it in the top bins as well, like. He was amazing yesterday. Brilliant stuff. And this side of his game, that technical cleanness from both of them, they might not be as dynamic as some of the other names we mentioned at the wing-back spots. But in terms of just technical and just clinicalness from certain chances, that they're showing that they're right up there. And I think Reece on 4 now is our top scorer in the league. And we've got Lukaku and whatnot, and you might say that
Chilwell's just behind as well. Chilwell's
on
closely behind.
Chilwell's on 3, same as Lukaku as well. So it's like, and it's not that they've been playing a crazy amount of games. Yeah, Chilwell has only played 4 league games for us.
Chilwell's just started recently.
Reece has been on the bench for many games.
He was suspended.
And then he got the red card. He got the red card.
And then he's been injured.
So to get that many goals as well, it shows that these guys are definitely they've got that tactical nous to get into the right positions that Tuchel's teaching them. And I felt like Tuchel had this brewing for a long time where he saw the potential in them and he was like, you guys can do so much better. And sometimes it just needs some time on the training field. Sometimes it needs some time to just get it. And sometimes when it clicks, you can see like the results now. And now we go into a game against Burnley, whoever. If you're looking at who's going to score on the pitch and we're missing a striker, I'm not even thinking Kai Havertz or Mason Mount or this. I'm thinking Chilean Reece.
I kid you not, Kishan. I kid you not. I'm always penciling down Chilwell and Reece James to score, because they get into tasty positions. And I'm going to do a tactical breakdown sometime down the track this week. If you notice, last season they were a lot more wider. This season they're a lot more internal. They're more inverted.
Yeah,
they get into. That's why we're not seeing a lot of Reece James crosses after crosses, Chilwell crosses after crosses. They're getting into more internal areas into the box.
That's how Pep plays with his wing backs. But it's like I saw some Twitter analysis from someone, I can't remember, and they were saying that even though Pep plays like that, it's Pep's inverted wing backs and right backs are more for sort of possession base, where ours is more off the ball. They arrive in the right positions and really, really advance. And then they use their technical quality to score goals like the ones that we've seen. And maybe 100%. This Reece at wing back stroke, we've always said that maybe his best position was right back and not wing back. But these positions that he's getting into, maybe he wouldn't even get into them if we had the defensive duties of a right back. So,
but he wouldn't. As a right back, he wouldn't.
Yeah,
he wouldn't.
This way he can use that technical cleanness as well, because These two guys, Miz, you are see in our team, they probably have the best shot. And that's with the midfielders, the attacking midfielders, etc. Chile and Reece probably have the best shot and best finishing alongside sort of Marcus Alonso. So they definitely need to use that.
100%. We're going to talk about this particular comment, which is very, very interesting. And I know we've been talking a lot about hype, and we obviously we're going to have to hype our players when they do well. But we will talk about the improvement, and it is an important point to talk about. But before we do that, a couple of other points as well about Reece James that I wanted to say. That's it. I just remembered. I tweeted something about a couple of weeks ago, Kishan, saying that I want to see a lot more of Reece James in right wing back, because there was getting a moment where Thomas Tuchel was using Azpilicueta as the right wing back, and Aspi's good. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got over 145 live. Please, let's smash the like button first of all. Let's get those likes up to 100. The target is 100 likes. You guys are enjoying this conversation, so let's drive those likes up to 100 as soon as we can. Kishan, I like Aspi in the right wing back position. He's okay. He's fine. He does those deliveries of the crosses. He gets into goal scoring positions as well. But I feel like, Kishan, he can do all of that as an RCB as well.
Yeah.
Much like Rudiger. Rudiger drives forward on that left side. Aspi can do the same thing as well. And he does that anyway. He can deliver deep crosses. He can overlap if he needs to. So for me, Aspi's game doesn't necessarily change too much if he just slots back as an RCB in his original position. And I said, I want to see Reece James a lot more in the right wing back. And there were a few fans who were saying, oh, so you don't want to, Azpilicueta has been better. You play him there. He's been scoring. He's been assisting, in whose expense? I'm like, dude, long-term vision.
Yeah.
You want to, if we do continue with the five at the back, you want to have Reece James playing in the wing-back position. However, this particular commentee, yes, Reece James has been fantastic, Kishan, but this particular comment, Miz, let's speak about RJ. His first half game was poor for his talent. I don't think it was poor. Yes, he scored twice, but we need him to up his game more. I'm not hating him. He's good, but he needs to improve more. Now, my few improvements, Kishan, would be, as a right wing back, you do need to have 1v1 ability. We talked about Tariq Lamptey, how incredible he was against Liverpool. And I feel like this is where Reece can exert himself a little bit more.
Better himself, yeah.
Exactly. And I feel like in recent times, Kishan, he's somewhat not crossing as much as he used to. And I don't want him to lose that. You still need to whip in those dangerous crosses, because that's another weaponry. You shouldn't just forget.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this against Newcastle. He whipped in a cross and Ziyech was right in front and he smashed it over the bar. I think Havertz was there in the box as well. So, I mean, there is still room for improvement for Reece James, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that type of cross, I'd say, yes, you're right, Miz, he needs to do more of. But apart from that, in terms of the crosses that come in where they're more speculative, I look at the team right now and I look at who's really going to attack them. And I know Havertz has got that height, but I don't necessarily back him to sort of battle with someone and win headers. So maybe I can understand why his crossing has gone down a bit. Maybe when Lukaku
there's
comes
no
back,
Lukaku and stuff.
yeah. But I felt like even from this right wing back position, he was always going to explode. And you look at that Arsenal game, Miz, and it's probably just unfortunate that the next game he got sent off at, because I think this probably could have happened a bit earlier in this season. But when you look at that sort of 1v1 thing, and I know he's got it in him, but he doesn't necessarily use it. I was saying last week, he's found his own way to be effective, just arriving in the right positions and stuff. Because even with Chilwell, you don't necessarily see him running at people and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So if that's not their game, that's fine, because they found another way of being sort of decisive.
Well said, bro.
It's actually it's all about being decisive. So if you look at Liverpool and you look at Trent, he doesn't necessarily take on people, but if he finds the right position, he puts a ball in or a shooting position, he can score.
Being decisive.
So it's all about you finding your way to be decisive. And yesterday, even if Reece didn't have the best of games in the first half, like the comment said, in the second half, he found a way and the right position to score 2 goals. And like 2 goals, even for a striker, is very tough to score. And to score them from such, like, if you're properly looking at the XG of those chances, maybe the second one's higher because it is an open goal. But to even get that in, a lot of players would have scuffed at that or not hit it hard enough.
Bro, the first one, a lot
one
of would have just skied it. Absolutely skied it.
Some people, or even Reece, maybe once he cut in on the left, I didn't necessarily expect him to just thump that in with his left as well. Because once you cut in on your left, you have the tendency to think, oh, will I get the power under this? He just put it on his left and whacked it like that's all he knew. So, yeah, literally, he's found his own way of being very, very decisive. And this is what Tuchel was, I think, talking about. When he says wing backs are very decisive for us, they just score a lot of goals. They've scored 7 league goals for us this season, and that's just wing backs. If you add overall, like other defenders, Chalobah, etc., defenders are a very, very key part to us scoring and doing well, and that's from set pieces, etc. But just Reece from his own position as well. That right-hand side, he can get better at taking on people, but I still don't think he'll learn that side. I just don't think that's him. I don't think that's going to be his game. But
look, let's see what happens. I mean, you're so spot on with your analysis that he's found his own way, which is absolutely well said. You don't always have to be taking on players if you know how to position yourself, clever runs, clever movements, knowing where to be.
One thing, like I'll say, it's like someone like Tariq Lamptey. I'm gassing Tariq Lamptey up a lot, and he probably would have run past a lot of those Newcastle players and tried to set people up. And then, but how many? Like, would he have got 2 goals against Newcastle? And sometimes you have to look at it that way because it's unlikely that he would have got 2 goals against Newcastle in this team. So
might have got 2 assists, but might have got 2 assists.
Might have got 2 assists, but this is the thing. Reece has that technical side of the shooting, and the shot power, etc. It's just a lot better than Lamptey. Whereas Lamptey or another wing back who's more dynamic is Hakimi even is better at running down people, etc. But as long as you're finding output from those wing back positions, then that's great, and being defensively solid at the same time, because that's another part of it, Miz. When you look at us, and we played 10 games this season, we've only conceded 3 goals, and Reece has probably been in that team for a lot of it as well. So no, like he's got, 100%. I feel like he's got both sides on lock.
100%. Will be incredible defensively. Apparently, after 10 games, this is the second best record, because the first one, obviously, the one we won under Mourinho. Where we had the record. Where we conceded 2, and this now we've conceded 3 after the first 10 games. It's looking immense, and these wing backs are doing a madness. Abdul B, thank you so much for the comment. If Reece can give us 10 goals in a season, that will be fantastic. I honestly think, Abdul, Ben Chilwell and Reece James, they'll get close to 10. I swear to you, because the reason why I'm saying this is because they're getting themselves into these tasty positions just in and outside of the box. They're just placing themselves perfectly for those balls to be laid to them to crack it. Do you know what I mean? So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we get 10 from each of them, which is going to be incredible from wing backs. Like, wow. Kishan, let's talk about the final topic that we want to talk about is the title chase that's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got nearly 140 live. Let's get those likes up to 100. We've got 63. Let's get to 80. Let's get to 80 during this time frame. If we could get to 100 by the end of this stream, that would be incredible. That was the target. It would mean a lot if you guys can help us reach that target together. But if we can get to 80, which is about 14 likes away, that'd be incredible. And then from there, if we can reach 100, massive. And if you're here for the first time as well, subscribe. Check out Kishan and his socials in the description. Kishan, I said something in my review yesterday after the match. Obviously, Liverpool dropped points with a draw. Man City lost. We're 5 ahead of Man City, 3 ahead of Liverpool. And I said in my review that, yes, we are in the title mix. There's no doubt about that. We are in the title chase. But if I'm looking at from a team perspective, like philosophy, style of football, City and Liverpool are still a bit ahead of us. They are ahead of us. Like they create chances for fun. And I know a lot of people are going to say, "But Miz, we have scored a lot of goals this season." I'm not just talking about this season. I'm talking about, the tenure that Klopp has had with Liverpool, Pep has had with City. They're so well drilled. Tuchel, he's getting there, but it will take time. It hasn't even been 12 months yet with Thomas Tuchel. So I understand it will take time. So the point that I got to in my review post-match, Kishan, I was saying that, yes, we are in the title chase, but if we win it, it's a massive slap in the face for Liverpool and City, who are, in my opinion, should be the favourites.
Further on in their development. Yeah.
Is that how you see it as well? Like, if Thomas Tuchel wins the league, Thomas Tuchel needs to be praised to the stars, man. Because, let's be honest, Klopp and Pep should really be fighting for it. In my opinion, they should be the favourites. But if we win it, wow. But what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, no, I think you're fully right there. But at the same time, like, when you look at these players, sometimes I think, we should properly be in the mix. But this is because...
Oh no, Kishan, you're gone again, bro. Come back.
Yes, I'm back. I think we should be in the mix because of what this manager has done. If you look at it before, like, Tuchel came in that, before that January period, we would have said, our players are not good enough. We need a revamp of squad to do this. And then he just came in and he was like, "Nah, you know what? Pretty much this squad's ready to win right now. This squad, like, this is what you say, Miz. We should have been winning yesterday." That's your line. And I like it. So with that, he's come in, and I think that mentality side of, like, playing under a top coach has been very, very good. And another part of the discussion we're having is Tuchel's been here less than 12 months, and since he came in, it's just game after game after game. So he's not got the most time on the training field, whereas Pep, Klopp have had 5 years plus pretty much on the training field with some of these guys. So
Klopp, I'm pretty sure, is on his 6th season.
Yeah, 6th, and then Pep's probably on his 5th. So with that, I think we're right up there in the mix, and the reason is pretty much this coach. Like, under another coach, I don't think we'd be right up there like how we are right now. So if we were to win it, it would be a slap in the face, and I think it'd kind of be like Tuchel looking down on the other two, like, this is my time now. Like, I'm at the top, because that's
I'm the captain now. I'm the captain.
That's a Champions League and a Premier League title if he does do it in consecutive seasons. And I know Liverpool did it under Klopp, but just timing wise, when you look at when Tuchel came in under us and we had games like Atletico Madrid, no one really gave us a good chance in those kind of games, and no one gave us a chance to win the Champions League. Even at the semi-final stages, they were saying, like, out of the 4 teams, we're probably weaker than Real Madrid and we had the worst odds to win it out of the 4, and we managed to do it. So, this manager, for me, kind of, after that Champions League, with him, it was it kind of don't matter. With me, his legacy is cemented, but obviously it don't work like that. We still need to carry on and win. And you look at where we are in other
imagine saying someone's legacy is cemented just after 6 months.
Bro, it is, for me,
it is true.
I've said this a lot of times, and I think all the managers I've seen, probably 10 odd, Thomas Tuchel is my favorite Chelsea manager out of them, because he's just come in and made
a complete package, doesn't it? Seems like a
complete package. And people will say Di Matteo won the Champions League in 6 months or whatever, but you knew he wasn't tactical manager. That was the win of vibes. This was tactical master classes, and you'll see with how we're playing right now. I know there's still part of us that's unconvinced. We're not making chances and churning out chances. So you'd be right when you say Liverpool and City are ahead. And Liverpool have talisman in Salah and Mane that I feel we still don't have. Even though we brought in Big Rom, he's been injured and he's not quite hit the heights of goal scoring that we need yet. But I think it will come. And when you look at how we're dealing with injuries and stuff like that, it's brilliant.
Look at how we're winning, Kishan. I've said it all along. We've not really looked great so far this season. Besides the Norwich game, we've not looked great so far. Throw in injuries, throw in illness as well. Mason Mount, Pulisic was ill as well. I believe Kante was ill as well here and there. It's incredible that we're getting these wins. It's giving me that vibe that that's how you win a Premier League, the adversities, to overcome the adversities. Low block against Newcastle, let's be honest, Kishan, back in those days, that's probably a draw or maybe a last-minute loss. Do you know what I mean? Callum Wilson special.
And these players are improving as well, Miz. Maybe last season you got someone like Reece. If they get in that advanced position, they wouldn't take a shot on, etc. So these players are learning as well to get better, to get more confident, and that's only going to be good for us. Because I remember messaging on our group that we have yesterday, like, I can't see where this goal is going to come from. Like, apart from maybe a complete like deflection out of somewhere, or you hope wing backs, but that's because I'm more using what I've seen over the past few weeks. And then they come up with some really, really good goals out of somewhere. But I'd like to see the type of goal I'd like to see is I want to see more tap-ins. I want to see goals where we're literally
we open them up.
When we fully open them up. Because for now, I think the quality of our goals is so good that I think, is it sustainable? That's one question as well that I'm having. And one thing is, next game we've got Burnley, and that was the kind of fixtures that I saw when before. Who was the last hard game we played? City, right? And then we had those 5 fixtures that we all looked at and said, this should be 5 from 5, if we're being honest. And it doesn't always tend to work that way, because you always seem to slip up in one. Brentford might have been that one that we slipped up in last season or whatever. But we've had 4 from 4 so far, and Burnley next. So it should be 5 from 5. You never know, but it should be with the way we're playing.
Burnley's done a bit of madness against Brentford, by the way.
Yeah. And this is the thing about the Premier League. You literally can't predict anything, because Burnley haven't been playing brilliant, and Brentford, everyone's been singing their praises. You saw how they played against us, and then yesterday a score like that happens, and that's why it's the best league. And this is why we can't be complacent with being at the top as well, because you saw last season West Brom humbled us 5-2, and you just never know what's going to come out of these games. So at the same time, Liverpool and City also need to be wary, because City have dropped points to Southampton, Spurs. Now, when you look at City dropping points to Spurs, Spurs are like a very, very poor team when you look at how they play against all the kind of big teams. So City have lost quite a bit of ground. And right now, to me, 5 points does seem like quite a bit the way we're playing. But 3 points difference between us and Liverpool doesn't seem too much.
Nah, that's not too much, because Liverpool, they will go on a run. They will go on a run. We need to be careful. I just want this international, for the first time, I actually want this international break to come quick so that we can recover some of our players back. Timo Werner, Lukaku, Kovacic, they're all going to be out. Pulisic is a great news. Apparently, he should be back against Burnley. So that could be. Yeah.
Now, if what seems to have happened is we've played all the teams at the top, and now we've played all the teams at the bottom. So the next sort of matches are going to be the type of Everton, Leeds, Wolves kind of team that we struggled quite a bit against last season. So even those matches will be quite interesting to see, because when you talk about the upsets that small teams can cause, if you kind of lose to an Everton, it's not a huge upset, but historically we've kind of struggled with games like Everton away and stuff like that. So it'll be really, really interesting to see how we handle those under Thomas Tuchel, because some of these fixtures he just didn't get a pop at because they happened before January. So I want to see how he takes. I feel like we've ended our sort of Newcastle away curse that we've had. So I think that's 2 seasons in a row that we've done as well. So I think hopefully we can end a few more of them. Everton away always seems to be one that we lose.
But Everton is the one that started the rot last season for Frank Lampard.
Literally, So
we need to be aware. But yeah, man, so far so good. The adversities that are thrown at us, we are overcoming them, and we need to continue doing that. Burnley, as I said, good news. Pulisic should be back, and could be that. I just, all of these teams, Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley, just you think they could be a banana skin. So far, they haven't been. And I like the fact that we've got a solution. And maybe against Burnley, doesn't Pulisic have a good record against Burnley? I'm pretty sure he does.
He scored that hat-trick against Burnley, yes.
Yeah. So let's see what happens off the bench.
Palace is the team that he has an incredible record against.
He loves Palace. Yeah. He loves Palace. But let's see what happens off the bench. Christian Pulisic. Let's see. Hopefully he does some madness. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you guys have enjoyed this show. We've talked about a lot of things. If you've missed it, check it out from the playback. We talked about Conor Gallagher. We talked about Jorginho and the penalty situation with Reece James. We talked about the wingbacks. And then obviously we talked about our title run. If you've enjoyed this, we're only about 24 likes away from 100 likes. As I said, the aim of the stream was to get 100 likes, and you guys have been sticking around all throughout. So please smash the like button, get those likes up to 100 straight away. I can already see so many people saying they've loved it. Pri, thank you so much. I love the stream. Robin saying, will your video be sectioned? Oh, you mean like time-stamped? Yeah, I could possibly go and do timestamps. It does. I do need to just quickly see, but I could do that. I probably will do that, Robin. So yeah, it will be sectioned. But yeah, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe. Very close to 8,000. Let's get to 8,000 straight away, guys. And hit the bell notification. I probably will have another video later down UK time, maybe around, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. Do look out for that, depending on what news comes out. So we might do a video on that. And check out Kishan and his socials in the description. Check out the match review if you've missed out, which is live at the moment in my channel. So do check that out. And wherever you are, stay safe, stay well, and we'll catch you guys soon again. Take care.